Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Armand for E equals MCU. We are back again in this Wandavision episode 3 breakdown. We got a lot to get into. This episode definitely moved the needle forward and pushed up the stakes with the suspense and everything. And just overall, the whole episode as a whole was executed perfectly. And it's just,
oh my God!
Yeah. So we gotta get into this, guys. We gotta break some of this down. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment to enter the Funko Pop giveaway, because that is still going on. But let's get into this episode real quickly here, guys. So the first thing I want to start off with is the commercial for this episode. It wasn't a lot going on in the commercial. It was pretty straightforward, but a couple things I did notice, and one thing I saw that was brought up was that Hydra Soak was actually brought up in a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode when they were in the framework, and Coulson mentions Hydra Soak, and he was talking about the blue soap and how he makes his own soap now, so he's free of Hydra. I thought that was a funny little tie-in, and if that's any indication, and you guys know I made the video before about if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was canon, that might be an indication that something is coming down the line, or there might be some kind of connection that's coming, and it's all coming through like WandaVision, because it's starting off phase 4. A lot of the tie-ins in this show are just going to be really they're going to have a lot of stakes. It's very heavy. So I did notice that, though, the Hydra Soak, and Hydra and playing into her past and everything. Let's try to start at the beginning of the episode with the doctor and how fast the pregnancy was going for Wanda. And the doctor's trying to explain to her how the doctor was like just mad sexist. He didn't have any, and it was so innocent in the way he did it. I think that's a good nod to the times, because they are doing the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and they've kind of captured not only the tone and the comedic and how the shows were shot, but they also capture the dialogue of how the times were. So kudos to them for that. But he's explaining to kids, and I don't know if you guys noticed, every time the scene that Wanda's off scene, when she shows back on scene, she's a little bit bigger each time. Like, they gradually did it and then kind of made reference to it and how fast the pregnancy was going. And Vision, the doctor says they're going on vacation and they're leaving, which we'll get back to that in a second. And Vision is using his super speed or whatnot to go get the doctor. Which, like I said before, Vision never had super speed. In the comics, yes, that may have been an ability, but they have not shown that in the MCU. So I think you can really tell here, and I think that's kind of a hint that Vision isn't really Vision from the actual universe. This Vision is a creation, and I'm hearing things that he may even be a totally different character. That'll be revealed later, but Vision never had super speed. So if that's part of Wanda's creation, that's something that her brother had. And I think they're using that with the twins to justify and kind of simplify and explain why one kid's going to have her powers and then one kid's going to have super speed. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, when they were talking, there were some hints that you could kind of tell that Wanda was in control of this whole thing. Vision, they're not on the same page. He's kind of, you could tell he doesn't have anything to do with this, and it's just kind of a mystery for him to kind of figure out what's going on. And she's just kind of like going along with it and getting him to go along with it. So that's kind of funny. Another thing I did notice in the intro as well was the hexagons. And upon doing a little bit of research on that, it looks like the AIM logo has a hexagon on it. And there was rumors that AIM was possibly involved in this somehow as another company at play for everything that's going on. So keep an eye out on that. The neighbor Herb is another thing I wanted to get to. his part in this was very telling because he's trimming the hedges at Agnes's place, and he goes from trimming the hedges to all of a sudden he's like cutting through the brick, and he doesn't even really know why. It's almost like he was like in a trance or something, or he was out of it. Seems kind of weird. Vision noticed it, and then Vision goes back in, and when he sees Herb again and he's talking to Agnes, Herb almost spills the beans, and he says, it looks like he's going to say we're being held here, or we're trapped here, or being held here against our will, and that's why Geraldine was sent in. But Agnes stops him from saying it. Now, the complexity of these scenes is very telling, because while Agnes was scared of Wanda and the fact that Geraldine was in there with Wanda, she also didn't want Herb to tell Vision why they were there, or what was going on. So I think she's playing coy, as the Easter egg on the dish soap in this episode. I think she's definitely playing coy with that, and I think that shows that she's definitely a part of this, but she may not necessarily, like, Wanda's definitely controlling this, but there's other people at play, and the biggest one probably being Mephisto, because he has been hinted at, and also Grim Reaper. It could be either or both, but they both have been hinted at. So that was one thing. Other thing I noticed is that when she was pregnant, a lot of people, I have not heard anybody else notice this, but I've noticed this, and especially from the dialogue, because she said that she felt flutteries and she was feeling stuff in her stomach and she thought it was kicking. But you notice every time she felt that, magic happened. So for instance, the butterflies came to life, and you just think, oh, Wanda can't control her powers. Or the stork comes into the living room and you say, oh, Wanda can't control her powers. And even then you notice she tried to make it go away and she couldn't. And I think the reason why is because it's not actually her doing it, it's Wiccan. It is actually Billy, one of the twins that she's having, doing the magic from her belly. And I haven't heard anybody say that, but they kind of hint at that's what's going on. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's exactly what's going on. So the stork and everything and all the magic that was going on that she couldn't control was him, changing the coats and doing that whole scene when Monica Rambeau was there. And speaking of Monica Rambeau, I love the way she played her part in this. It's just as far as the actress, doing the whole 70s throwback, like the way she played the scene was like perfect throwback to like I said, the 70s black exploitation kind of era of acting. I think she hit the nail on the head. And that leads me to like probably the best part of this episode is when, Wanda's singing the lullaby, and then she says, I had a brother, and the fact that Geraldine, aka Monica Rambeau, says, oh yeah, your brother was killed by Ultron, his name was Pietro. That is the most intense scene because she snaps out of whatever she's doing or what's going on, and the emotions, like Elizabeth Olsen, if you didn't know before, like, she's a powerhouse actress, and she's just showing her chops in this whole series across the board, because you guys don't have any idea how hard it is to play different genres of different eras. It takes very good acting to be able to pull this off, and they really nailed the cast as a whole that have the ability to do this. And I think you kind of now see why they cast who they cast for these roles, is because the things that they're trying to do is kind of ambitious. It's just not superhero movies, you know what I mean? Like, Marvel has always tried to push the envelope in that way, and with these TV shows they're pushing the envelope even more. So kudos to all of the actors on this. Being an aspiring actor myself, I do notice a lot of decisions that the actors make, and then with the dialogue and how they bring that to life, and it's very inspiring and interesting to see them pull that off and see how they pull it off. But that, just to that episode and to that part, it was very ominous, and it's very scary how she dealt with Monica Rambeau in that situation. And that was kind of the giveaway as to who was really pulling the strings here. And if you notice, when she boots her out of the bubble of the town of Westview, we find out a couple of things. That number one, Westview is a real town. And then number two, that Westview, that the people there are either trapped, or there's another theory that they're possibly dead, and you know, tying back to the whole Mephisto thing and their souls. You really see that she kind of pops out of the bubble, and it looks like a TV screen. So it kind of leads me to my next theory, is that this whole TV theme of the show is that these people are trapped in this town, and Wanda's actually broadcasting it, and that's how Sword was able to see what was going on. So she kind of comes out of the TV bubble, and that's what kind of exposes that. At least that's what I think. I mean, you know, it kind of shows to me that that's kind of what's going on with it. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and let me know what I may have missed. You know, if you agree with anything, and we'll wait until next week to kind of confirm. All right, guys, I'm out.